Nigerians at home and in the diaspora. And today's edition of Big Story, we are diving deep into one of the most pressing political stories shaping the road to 2027. The People's Democratic Party, once Nigeria's dominant political force, has battled through internal rift, high-profile defections, electoral defeat, and shifting alliances. But as the next general election looms, the PDP, are they joining all for a major comeback or heading for political extinction? That's a good question. From crisis to comeback, we dissect the drama, the strategy, and the stakes. With us today is the political analyst and commentator, Dr. Ambrose Igboke, who will help us unpack the PDP's chances, challenges, and of course, choices. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, once considered Nigeria's political powerhouse, as a turbulent party, since losing power at the federal level in 2015, once holding the reins of the national leadership for 16 unbroken years, the PDP has since grappled with internal divisions, zoning controversies, credibility crisis, and the formidable rise of opposition parties like the APC and, more recently, the Labour Party. Now, the 2023 elections further exposed these cracks, key defections, the G5 governor saga, inconsistent messaging, and a fractured campaign left many wondering, is the PDP still a viable national force? Yet, amid the setbacks, there are signs of reawakening, strategic reconciliations, grassroots rebuilding effort, and increasing public dissatisfaction with the current administration, so that the PDP might be positioning itself for a strong return. But is this revival real or too late? That's what we are going to be looking at this morning, because the recent peace deal between that's what we are going to be looking at this morning. And of course, we hope to have our guests in the studio in person of Dr. Ambrose Igboke, who is the Chairman Guild of Public Affairs Analysts from Enugu State. Good morning, Doctor. Oh, can you hear me clearly? All right. Thank you for being on. Yeah, thank you for being on the program this morning. So I would like to ask you this question. At what point do you think the PDP got it wrong? Because a lot of PDP stakeholders have come out to say, oh, I think it started from the issue of when are you resigned from the office, he violated, some codes of the party, and then he did not, lay down, better rules for the party. There was no acting national party chairman, not to talk of a substantive national chairman. And of course, the former national publicity secretary of the party, Kola Olubodinyo, also noted, that PDP members have failed to follow rules. They lay down the laws, but then they don't follow the laws. What do I mean by that? He made, mention of this recent case that PDP is going through. And I'm talking, of course, about this issue of Anyanwu must go, he must leave. Members of the BOT are saying the party chairman has no right to say that, Anyanwu must stay. And members of the NWC, some of them are also not, happy with this situation. These divisions here and there, these cracks here and there, what do you make of this? These divisions, can it actually, give PDP a better chance come 2027? Can you help us unpack, these divisions within the party?
As we know it, the People's Democratic Party has demonstrated in this current dispensation that it doesn't stick to its own rules, that it has no regard for people who are actually making sure that the party works. Let's take the example of the National Secretary.
Okay.
Normally in PDP, when a position is zoned to a particular zone, the caucus of that zone produces the candidate to fill that position. That has been the practice and convention in PDP. So when it came to Anyanwu, the Southeast Caucus of PDP has said repeatedly that they endorsed Udokoye as the National Secretary, because Mr. Anyanwu left the position as National Secretary, went to conduct an election. You cannot be an umpire, because the National Secretary that is in charge of screening candidates for the primaries and the rest. So it is deemed that he has resigned, to go and contest an election in 2023. You cannot go there. You cannot do that as a national secretary because you cannot be a judge in your own case. Then you came back, and the couple said, "Let this Udokoye that has been appointed continue as substantive." And then some people, especially the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, and is insisting that the chairman also is insisting, the national chairman is insisting that Anyanwu must be called back. Then the caucus, Southeast caucus, said this is the position, which is the PDP. So the PDP national chairman, and they are supposed to respect and abide by the decision of the zonal caucus. So it is first of all disrespectful that the PDP will not allow a whole zone, the Southeast zone, to have its way and align just one or two individuals have their way. That is disrespectful. That is insulting. And then also, Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State is the leader of the PDP in the Southeast today because the only governor of that of PDP in the Southeast. And he has been trying his best to ensure that the party stands in the region. Remember that PDP, the whole region, Southeast region, used to be PDP. Now, because of the kind of shenanigans happening in PDP, a lot of them have left. And then it's remaining only one. Yet, the PDP thinks that the best way to treat somebody who has been trying to keep the party in the region is to disrespect him. This is not going to augur well because it is like in Latin, in the Catholic Church, there's a Latin word called Nunc Dimittis. Nunc Dimittis means a nice prayer where you sing before you go, and then sometimes they sing it at a funeral. So this is like the funeral song for the PDP. And it will be cosmetic to say that the problem started, because your child you resigned and the rest. I think it's a deeper problem.
Okay.
The deeper problem is the fact that the PDP, the Southeast region, and the Igbo people generally have PDP as a stronghold since it was founded in 1998. Perhaps because the founder of the PDP, who was G34 at that time, which the late Alex Ekweme, was an Igbo man. And that is why maybe we supported, because in 1999 election, all the governors were Igbos. In the north, it was not like that. We had APP that had the elections, that had governors. When we come to the southwest, we had the Alliance for Democracy, AD, basically that swept the whole place. So it was only the southeast region, Igbo, that didn't have a regional party. So we were all PDP, even when in 2003, when Muhammadu Buhari contested, chose an Igbo man, it was still Igbo people still voted for PDP, the Southeast. Even though it came by the way, whom the Igbos hold in very high respect, contested the election, but they still voted for the PDP. When Muhammadu Buhari also chose another Igbo person as Ahamba, as Ronnie Belobi, it's the same thing. The Southeast voted for PDP. The same thing, even when Chibokadibo crossed over to ANPP those days, we still voted for PDP. Now, when it came to 2023, when the rotational presidency was returned to the south after President Muhammadu Buhari did his 88th term from the north, it was natural that the PDP would have selected somebody from the southeast to be his flag bearer, because when he reverted, the southwest PDP, in the person of Olusegun Obasanjo, has produced did his 8 years. The south, the person of President Goodluck Jonathan, did 6 years. So it was only the southeast in the south that has not been given the presidential ticket of the PDP. But what did the PDP do? The PDP manipulated its way through some interested parties, and said they were throwing it open. Why will you throw something that is rightfully for the southeast open when it was other regions? It was not thrown open. Excuse me. So it was not thrown open. So it is therefore an insult on the Igbos and the Southeast to suffer that fate. Now that forced somebody like Peter to be out of the party, and we are having that issue today now.
Olaf, thank you. Oh, bless you. Thank you for that. So I would like to ask you again, because you have mentioned, talked about the issue of zoning, which has affected the party. And when we look at it, zoning has actually, eaten deep into the fabric of the PDP. So I want to ask you now, do you think PDP has what it takes to actually, go hand in hand or try to seat the president of APC, come 2027? Because according to the party chairman, Damagud, he said that there's going to be a comeback in 2027. And of course, the likes of GRV, they're also saying that, once the party is united, they have all it takes, to actually, defeat APC 2027. Do you agree with that? Or you have like a counter opinion?
I think Mr. Damagud is playing the role of an undertaker. An undertaker, I think he has been employed as an undertaker to bury PDP.
Okay, that's your take.
The election waste.
Okay, all right. Please go ahead, I can hear you.
There's no PDP. There's no PDP again in the Southeast. Because with this treatment of the only governor of the Southeast who is a PDP person, perhaps the Southeast caucus last month said that if the national chairman and his cohorts keep on treating the Southeast caucus this way, that they will determine a different path for their political future. So that will definitely happen if this trajectory continues, if the PDP does not rescind on these decisions to insult the whole of the caucus of the Southeast geopolitical caucus of the party. Therefore, just yesterday, we saw that a good number of PDP people, strongholds in PDP, people like Elijah Atiku Abubakar, David Mark, and some other people, have joined forces with some other people to form another political alliance. So the same thing will happen surely here if these decisions are not rescinded. Therefore, it will be hard as a foolery to say that you want to unseat a sitting president when you are purposely, intentionally putting your party to death, because it's like slowly injecting a poison on PDP, and that is breathing into the ICU now, intensive care unit. And it seems that Mr. Damango is just ready to bury the party. With this, it's unfortunate that a behemoth of PDP that used to be a colossal party is now in disarray this way. And that the national chairman, instead of trying to save the party and work with elements, party faithfuls in the Southeast, people who have been loyal to the party, what he decided to do is to keep them aside and then think he wants to bury the party.
All right, thank you. Speaking of the coalition, I have a question for you on that. Do you think it's for the PDP or against the PDP? Because I heard that, or I read stories that, some of the things that were discussed in that meeting is to decide whether some PDP members will stay in PDP and then, some will join the coalition. Do you think it's for the PDP or against the PDP? This coalition that we speak of really, bring an end to the PDP, and then we'll have a brand new political party.
Well, from the current realities, I think the PDP is against itself.
Okay. Because
if you have to put your house in order, and then when external forces strike. But right now, the PDP is at war with itself through the national chairman and some few of his cohorts, who are using both external forces and their own internal shenanigans to destroy the party. So we don't even need to have external forces fighting the party. If you are invited, there's a proverb that when you bring firewood, you bring anti-infested firewood, you invite a lizard to your house. And that is what is really happening now in the PDP. So the coalition, most of the coalition members left because, the current leadership at the national level of the PDP is hell-bent on not listening to party members, is bent on not carrying party members along, and is bent on not even respecting the arms, the various structures that make up the party, and that is a whole problem. And then, unfortunately, the only person who seems to stand firm against what the shenanigans is the governor of Enugu State, and it is very appalling that even the governor's forum in the PDP, they are not making an effort to take a stand in this kind of thing and confront the national chairman. I'm still seeing the kind of dilly-dally. We're seeing the kind of, there's no affirmation of opposition to what the national chairman is doing. So apart from Peter, but I don't see anything happening again. So the governors forum under the PDP governors forum should come out together and stand with one voice and be able to tackle this thing, because one or two people cannot be stronger than a whole PDP governors forum or a whole caucus of a zone. This should not be done this way. And also, it's not too late, but it's already in the ICU. Okay. If these things can be rescinded in the next 48 hours or so, then maybe PDP may have a chance for anything. But if they insist on burying PDP and trying to take it to the morgue, well, there's nothing PDP can do come 2027. Already, they have lost to a party that has lost. That is why people are saying it seems that the national chairman really want to bury the party. Because a party that sat back, you lost two governors within few months, should worry. But rather than getting worried, what is it doing? It's busy, destroying even the governors that are still faithful to the party. So I will not be surprised if heavyweights in the party start leaving to find better chances that political platforms that will respect them. But as it is now, PDP is in self-implosion.
All right, thank you. So do you still think Nigerians will trust PDP come 2027? Looking at these divisions, that you have pointed out, the factions, what, the party chairman, Damagum, is doing to the party, him restating, the national secretary. Do you still think Nigerians will trust PDP come 2027 with their votes?
Well, there's a lot that will happen before 2027. In fact, between now and December 31st, 2025, there's a lot will happen. The thing, if PDP continues in this trajectory and does not make efforts to apologize for what they have done or make a U-turn on this kind of decision, especially the contentious issue of the national secretary, and give the Southeast Caucus its rights by practice and convention to bring the position of the national secretary, since it was zoned to the zone, then the PDP would have lost the Southeast. After all, the APC has a Boeing and Imo. The LP has Abia. APGA has Anambra. And this is the only PDP surviving state. So if they're going to lose that, then the Southeast will not trust the PDP anymore. If it does this, people who have been loyal for 27 years, well, 28 years, if you count 1998 when the party started, they'll be so loyal, and then you just come all of a sudden and you disrespect them first of all by not thinking that they are not good enough. So the Southeast is good enough to support candidates from other geopolitical zones, but it is not good enough to produce a presidential candidate in PDP. That is the last statement the PDP has made in 2023. And while they were still trying to manage that, they came again with this insult on the Southeast Caucus. So I think this is no longer about the PDP when you look at it.
All right, away from the issues going on within the PDP now, let's talk about. Okay, can you hear me? Let's talk about another interesting story, going on within the PDP. Recently, we witnessed a kind of peace deal that happened between Fubara and Wike. And a lot of persons are asking questions. Why is it that a member of another political party had to broker that peace between Fubara and Wike? Both of them belong to the PDP. Don't you find it a little bit absurd that the PDP could not resolve this issue between predecessor and successor, or godfather and godson, if you like?
Well, I think we're just trying to be diplomatic and maybe try to be nice on air. But from what is going on, we know the instigator of the problem in Rivers State. The same person who is instigating the problem in Rivers State is the person instigating the problems in PDP. And the person is working for the APC. Therefore, it is only natural that the destabilizing factor is because presidential candidate in 2023, still in PDP. So already that is an anti-party activity. That is a big issue in this. That's a big, punishable offense in any political party. But I still left him there. The intervention of the president, I don't think is based on political party. Intervention of the president is based on the fact that a state, that is the River State governor, it's a governor in a federating state in Nigeria, okay. And as the president, I think he had to intervene to make that to make that happen. But in that intervention, it is clear where the president stands, because from what we heard and read about the resolutions, about the content of the so-called resolutions, it is very clear that it was in favor of the FCT minister. So one will ask whether was it really a peace deal, or was it just an imposition of a directive, give it or take it or leave it, and if you take it, this is what you get. If you leave it, this is what you get. So between the devil and the deep blue sea, I think the governor just had to choose one, because both of them are unpalatable options.
Okay, going by what you have just said, is this peace really peace? Because this is not the first time that the president will step in this matter. I think the last time, papers were signed, but this time we are seeing more pictures, handshakes, and a lot of persons are asking, is this peace, really going to stay for long? Because let me link it to history a little bit. One of the reasons, or the major reason that led to the Second World War was because of the Versailles Peace Treaty of 1919. It laid the foundation for the Second World War, because some parties felt like it was a dictated peace. And so looking at how Rivers State is now, because some supporters of Fubara have come out to say that, oh, to us is not really a peace. It looks like a surrender, outright surrender. What do you make of this? What challenges do you foresee in Rivers State, going by some of the submissions of the supporters of Fubara? Because Fubara went there alone, and a lot of persons are asking, are you sure the interest of Rivers State people have been taken into consideration?
Fubara is in a coup. One, Fubara himself does not have political base. Fubara was single-handedly picked by Governor Nyesom Wike, even against some reservations by a lot of the political party stalwarts. Who wanted politicians, who were in their fold to become the governor. But against the party advice, against the party yearnings and the rest, Governor Nyesom Wike single-handedly picked Fubara and imposed him on the party and made him governor. That is the danger of the situation in Rivers State. And then these people also, who are now saying they are Fubara supporters, were actually the people also who didn't want him at that point. Who also wanted to say, okay, oh no, it should be somebody who has been with us that would be, which is rightfully so, because they have worked for the party over the years. So Fubara is a greenhorn, basically, in the political machinations in Rivers State. And I think one of the grave mistakes he did was to turn against his sponsor in the first term. It was not strategic in his, even if there's a fight he was going to do. I don't think it was very strategic in the fight he wanted to do. You would have waited, till maybe the second, after he has secured the second tenure, before he starts doing what he did. But when you are a man that has all the State House of Assembly people, basically all of them with him, a man that has can put the levels of authority, you are just the governor was.
I think we have a network issue, but we do.
Well, let's see.
Okay, I think he's back.
Can you hear me? I said it's difficult for him to work unless he's really, going to kowtow to everything Mr. Nyesom Wike tells him to do.
All right, thank you. So, speaking of, the issue of second term, something has been flying around. We are not privy, or let me say I'm not privy to whether the information is true or not. And then it boils down to the fact that, Fubara might not be allowed to contest for second term, based on some of the mistakes that he made, or some of the, issues or that he had, or he's going through with his predecessor. So what do you make of this? Because a lot of persons are saying, is this not an infringement on his right? Because, it should be about the electorate, the people of Rivers State, to decide whether Fubara should run for second term or not.
Well, the electorate in Nigeria don't have a say when it comes to party nominations.
Really?
The people that have the say in party nomination are the delegates that go for the primaries. So it is what the party throws up that the electorate now vote for, whether the electorate likes the candidate or not, whether the candidate was qualified or not. So for now, that is sadly the real situation in Nigeria electoral system, where a few people called delegates, influenced by whatever factor, go and do what they call party primaries, come up with a candidate and a flag bearer for the political party, who is now the person that will be presented to the electorates to make their choices. So for now, the people of Rivers State have no say. It is the political party to have a say. So if the political party said, okay, we are not giving the governor the ticket to run for the governorship, he will not get it. And if they said, okay, even other political parties will not give, they will not get it. I remember in Rivers State, it's basically a PDP state. So it has all the structures, just like some other states, that have been PDP since 1999. So it will be very difficult for a new party to, especially somebody who doesn't have a lot of political base, to want to bulldoze his way through. Unless all the PDP structure in the Rivers State is collapsed into a political party, there's little or nothing anybody can do. That is the sad reality.
So you think it's a political party thing and not a wicked thing? This issue of second term, you might not be allowed to contest for second term.
Well, in Rivers State, Wike is PDP and PDP is Wike.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that. I would like to ask another question, still relating to that, because I read something, or I read the story where Fubara said nothing is too big to ensure peace in Rivers State, and a lot of persons have been trying to, talk about, or let me say, explain further what does it mean by that, because in many occasions, several occasions, Governor Fubara, said that he did some things because he was under pressure. He was sure that, okay, it might not even be in the interest of the people of Rivers State. So I wanted to, can you proffer some solutions to issues like this, from coming up next time? Not even about Rivers State alone. Let's talk about, other governors. How can they deal effectively with their predecessor or their godfather? Looking at the issues that we experience, between predecessor and successor, in this country.
Well, this is not the first time the predecessor and the successor are having issues. I think there is an illusion of power for the incumbents most of the time. Especially when they want to hand over. They want to play God. They want to ensure that the person whom they select are the people who will. But oftentimes, majority of the times, we find out that the successors later want to assert themselves, especially when they are politicians, because they also have their political clout, their political base. And that is why most of the time, many governors, except in maybe Rivers State, Kano State, and one or two other states, that the deputies actually succeeded them in elections. In most of the states, the incumbents don't want their incumbent deputies to succeed them because they feel they have political clout, and it was the political system that brought them to place. So they always want to bring their own man to succeed them. But it has turned out to be a fiasco, an exercise in futility, because most of the time the new man in power wants to assert himself, because the Nigerian governor is a very powerful position, and then after the president, perhaps in the subnational, is the person in charge of his state. So he's powerful to the extent of also his political power. We have seen successors deal with their predecessors, that people that brought them to power. But I think in the case of Fubara, I think that there's too much of an overbearing presence of his predecessor. That is what is happening. That is what is affecting him. And unfortunately for him also, he doesn't have the political base to fight back, because all these people who are around him are just people who don't have power to rescue him from the clutches of the overbearing presence of his predecessor. So it's unfortunate, and it happens like that. But again, we have seen successors, assert their independence, and some of them are even run out their predecessors. Like Nyesom Wike, for example, had a very strong running battle with Amechi, his predecessor, and he was able to, chase the party, and they had to go to another party, the APC. Until now, he's still, having that kind of power. But all those powerful annotations, presence, and actions, all of them have expiry dates. We have been here since 1999. We saw people who wielded enormous power, and we saw them out of power too. And we also saw them that some of them, the powers fizzled out after a while. So nature has a way of recurring phenomena, and this is one of them. So there will be a time too, somebody's power will also fizzle out. It is the course of nature.
All right, before we go, very shortly, can you talk about the position that, the people of Rivers State should take, looking at, this issue going on between these two parties? They are not quite sure whether things will return to status quo. And by status quo, I mean that, Fubara came out, on many occasions to say that, he was forced to do a lot of things, because of, his predecessor, just like you said. So what position should the people of Rivers State, take, going forward?
And also, before I even speak on that, let me also warn that people who want power should not be desperate for it. Okay. Because I think Fubara also was desperate for power because we heard there was an agreement. If there was an agreement and you cannot abide by that agreement,
this governorship. To be a governor is to serve your people. If somebody is giving you impossible conditions, then don't take it. But when you accept it and then when you come forward and I will not do this, elective, it's a big problem. As for the people of Rivers State, it is time for them to really sit down and what will benefit them, because this fight between Fubara and Wike is not for the benefit of the Rivers people. None of them, both of them, are not fighting for the interest of Rivers people. They are fighting for their own political survival. So I will tell the River people, as we say in downtown, shine your eyes.
Shine your eyes, really. I like that line. All right, a big thanks to you, Dr. Ambrose Igboke, the Chairman, Guild of Public Affairs, and is a commentator on national issues. Thank you for being a part of the program this morning.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
All right, you have a great day, sir.
You too.
All right, there you have it, a deep dive into the turbulence, the turnarounds, and the ticking clock facing the People's Democratic Party as 2027 draws near. From unresolved power struggles to the scars of past defections, the PDP stands at a historic crossroad. Return as a reformed force or repeat the mistakes that brought it down. Nigerians are watching. The political chessboard is shifting, and one thing is clear: sentiment will not win 2027 election. Strategy will. Will the PDP rise from its ashes or fade into background of Nigeria's political history? Time and the will of the people will tell. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakwa, and this has been Big Story on Daybreak Live. Do well to join us same time. The conversation continues. Thank you for being a part of this program. Do not forget, to speak up at all times and stay democratic always. Thank you once again.